Hi, this is comedian and supermodel Joel Creasy.
What's up, y'all? I'm Al Jackson.
Oh, hey, it's your best friend Simon Taylor.
Hey, this is Brett Blake.
Hi, I'm Isabel Angus. Hey, this is Redown.
Hey, this is Blake Freeman.
Hey, this is Nick Kaplan.
What's up? This is Kyle Kinane.
Hi, this is Joseph Green.
Hey, this is Izzy Ali.
Hi, I'm Luca Muller.
Hi, this is Michael Schaefer.
Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Knox.
Hey, this is Stuart Dolman.
Hey, this is Rob Carolina.
This is Shane Moss.
You're listening to the one and only Laugh Out Proud with the homies Z and G
On Joy 94.9.
Hi, I'm Brian Shelmon. Sorry. Hi, I'm Brian There you go. One more time. Hi, I'm Ryan I always get this wrong. Hi, I'm Ryan Shelton. You're listening to Laugh Out Proud with Z and G on Joy 94.9.
Right here in the studio we have now, of course, we just plucked him off the street, of course, just walking around.
Just saw him wandering down Burke Street.
Two US comedians, of course, Brent Morin and Josh Johnson, right here in the studio tonight. How are we tonight, boys?
We were on the street, so we're not doing that great.
Yeah.
No, exactly right. You were just walking around on the streets, of course.
But we did find that there was toilets on the streets. So, I mean, there was a positive in there.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's why the city's so clean.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it is. It's very clean.
Coming from New York, this is like almost appalling how clean this place is. Because it doesn't just mean that like Melbourne is clean. It means New York is extra dirty. Yeah, I mean...
Well, those those street sweepers around, right? They have them in New York at least, right?
They have them once every decade.
Right,
There's someone that's
I don't think they're on. You know how the things spin? I see them at like dawn, but they're not on.
But the brush is raised. Like the brush is, so it's like this guy's just going for a drive.
Yeah, he's just having his own parade or something.
Yeah.
He's cruising. So you're both American comics. Where did you both guys started in comedy? Like which city?
You want to start?
Brent,
or
Josh?
I started in Chicago.
Chicago,
Yeah.
okay, right on. Okay, and Brent,
It's a great city. L.A.
Right, okay, wow, okay, so differing cities there. So Chicago, how was the scene at the time? What year are we talking?
2012 is when I started.
Right, okay, wow.
It was 2012.
Okay, so what was the scene like in Chicago 2012?
It was very dangerous. Lots of murders there. There's a ridiculous amount of murder in Chicago, but the comedy is great. People,
the scene, the comedy scene's good. That's
murdering
good.
on the stage too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice segue.
Yeah, I do what I can. You know.
So what comedy clubs were you hitting up then?
I got passed at the Laugh Factory first. Right. There's actually one of the franchises of the Laugh Factory in LA, and
right.
Zanies, and then Jokes and Notes, which is now closed, but it was like the only black club.
Right.
So many people were scared to go there, and it wasn't even like a race thing. It was just I don't want to get booed.
Oh yeah,
because they know that black people boo. Like it's
you got to be good, and confident, and if you're not, black people won't. They're my favorite audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll also like laugh so hard we leave.
Yeah.
I mean,
Up and leave.
A show will end early if you're funny enough. You know.
Yeah. So what are you saying, Brent? You kill in front of black audiences then?
Yeah. It's funny. I started at the Laugh Factory as well. First time I went there when I was in college in LA, and it was the only place that was 18 plus, and I didn't have a fake ID, and I went and saw a show, and I never thought about doing stand-up. And then, of course, like most audience members who heckle, I didn't heckle, but you know how they go, like, I could do that. I actually got in line, like, the next week to do 3 minutes. You had to wait 3 hours to do 3 minutes. And bombed horribly. But then got competitive and was like, maybe I'll take this seriously, like, my senior year of college. And,
Right.
And then a buddy of mine that opens for me now, Jason Collins, very funny comic, he was from Long Beach, and he was like, do you want to do this black room in Long Beach? It's that Friday, but they'll give you 15 minutes, which at that time, like 15 minutes is like an hour.
Right.
If you're like, you don't get 15 minutes in LA. So I'm like, yeah. And I ate it every week for like 4 months because they would just be, and they would say shit to me like, they'd be like, come back next week, you know, like the audience, because they'd be regulars.
Bullies.
And they'd dress up, though. Yeah. They'd look good. Like, it was nice and set up. It was present. Like, this was their night out. And then I'm getting up there trying. And then one day I just snapped and figured it out. And then it was like the best night of my life. So, I love crowds like that.
Right on. So
not like that. It sounds racist.
No. I mean, it really always sounds racist if there's like a negative connotation.
Yeah.
When you say crowds like
I
that,
hate
it's
crowds like that.
It's like, oh, man, I need to get more crowds like that.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean black people.
Yeah,
I need more black people.
So what was... like both Brent and Josh, what was your like initially starting your first set? Like, how did you go about just putting together the joke itself? I mean, were they ramblings? Were they like structured out
I was
real
crazy.
jokes?
You go first. I was
Josh?
I didn't have a plan. I would just go up with like maybe 3 or 4 thoughts, like a thought a minute sort of thing, and then I would just like talk it out, and then because I know how to write at the time. And then I had like general ideas, but the thing is, I don't know how. Like, I really don't know how to talk to people. So then the thing would sound weird, and sometimes it would sound weird and funny by accident, but I didn't know what I was doing. Even when I didn't bomb, I didn't know why I didn't bomb, so it made me more nervous because I was like, now I really don't know how to do comedy because now it's going well, and people are going to ask me back, and I won't know how to do it. Yeah.
So has the writing process changed at all? Do you still just use a thought and just run with that?
No, I still don't know what I'm doing.
Or is it a lot more scripted now, or it's just more structured even?
It has more structure, but structure is something I'm working on because it's like the way, like if you can create a rhythm, people will like really ride with you.
Right. Yeah,
and then mostly I'm just saying things that sound horrible, but then it's like usually through the joke, people then get like on board.
Right.
But
With
then
premise, yeah.
that's still breaking even. Whereas if you have a structure, people like get used to the rhythm of you saying a thing.
Okay.
Coming back from it, you know what I mean? So
Okay,
it's like, if you say something and you can't back it up, like the joke isn't funny enough, and you haven't established a rhythm of how this night's gonna go, then you've just lost everyone. You know what I mean? But if you can do it 2 or 3 times, then you can say like there should actually be more slaves, and then everyone will be like, what's happening? What is this? What's going on? And then you bring it back, and that sort of thing.
What about you, Brent? How was those?
It was a little like I started earlier. I started at 18, 19, like 2004 or 5.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. We don't have to say it like that.
No, we're not doing the math in our head. We're
still doing okay here,
No.
Guys, I'm fine.
Not a cry for help.
I don't know. I mean, I was all over the place. I didn't know who I was, and I realized like about 3 years in that I was just fake confident.
Right.
And then I would get in the car, and I was with my other comic buddies, and I would be I was the hardest on myself than anybody, and I would just be like, I don't know why I'm saying what I'm saying, But it's also like I'm young, and the world is mine, so.
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what? I just got to talk about me.
Right,
because there's something with that going out to a bar or just meeting somebody or having these things. And I realized, like, for me, it was a connection. But I was also a screenwriting major, and I love stories so much that I kind of found through longer sets that I could paint a picture and paint like a story. So instead of like wanting things because it's what you should get, like a special or this, I was like, well, no, I just want to tell a story that I could look back at. And when I'm, at 28, I shot my first special, and I didn't I passed on half hours because. Not because I was thinking, oh, well, career-wise, it's this. I was thinking, like, no, I want to be in my, like, hopefully, my 80s, and whatever the Netflix is at the time. What the hell was Grandpa talking about at 28? Like, I want to be in love, I'm not ready for a relationship. And that was the through line.
Right.
And I found that an audience, and piggyback off what Josh is saying, is like, you give an audience more credit than you think. Like, they're smarter than you think, and they understand things, even if it's not the same story, that's the same emotion.
Right. Yeah.
Like, even if my pain because I had a girl leave me for a magician, you might not have had that, but you've had a girl leave you, or a girl's had a guy leave them, and there's whatever the angst I'm having or the problems or the side things or the mistakes I'm having, they come from something, and then I'd go, all right, now back to the party with the magician, and I found that an audience was like, well, I want to hear how it ends.
Right.
So for me, it's just been story a lot.
Okay. So
And a bunch of weird things. I don't know what I'm doing, dude. One of the first jokes I wrote was like, I would do impressions, like, not even impressions because I can't do those, but I would say, like, this is my impression of me explaining to an alien how an elevator works. Like, what the hell is that? And then I would just sit there and pretend to hit a button and look up, and like somebody's like 7'5" and go, huh? Oh, no, it's an elevator. How does it work? Well, you push the button and it opens, then you get up and it takes you up. And then it's just me getting frustrated because I don't know how an elevator works mechanically. And then I end up losing my shit on him. And then he takes me up to his ship, and then I get probed.
But like, when you write...
By the way, killed.
Yeah?
No, never did.
Like, when you're writing a bit like that, say, I mean, are you writing out word for word? Are you a scripted sort of person? No.
Never.
You're like, I'm going to go off
I have like a bullet of something, and then it's like a feeling. Like if I'm like on the new one I did for the stand-ups, episode 5, watch it please, season 2. Like I had some breakup stuff. I was like, I got to get rid of that.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, what's the reason that happened, or what's happening to you? Uber's ruining my life. Why? Because I learned that it asked me twice. I'll do anything, you know, which is not a good quality. It's because I have Uber. So it just like certain bits started fit. Like, where does this fit? Because then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to write out the set list.
Right.
It just goes like, if you ask me twice, I'm in. Why? Because Uber's ruining my life. Then bam. Then George. Then that leads to that's why I got a relationship. And then it kind of like starts to
right.
hit. You know, I'm doing a lot of hand motions for people listening, and I realized just saying did doesn't make sense.
It makes so much more sense live.
The hands really bring it together.
It does. You're missing out. If you saw the hands, you'd be like, oh, but you know.
Look, while we work out the hand situation,
we have to.
we're listening to this song. Listen to Laugh Out Proud.
Z&J
on Joy 94.9.
G'day, this is Will Anderson, and you're listening to Laugh Out Proud with ZNJ on Joy 94.9.
And we still have Brent and Josh in the studio, of course.
Yes. And they were breaking it down during that song.
They were so much during the song. You're doing some crazy dance moves, guys. I don't know what you would call them. What Brent? What would you call that dance move you're doing?
Tears of joy.
Tears.
Jesus. It came through.
I was crying.
Yeah.
Josh?
Fly in my face.
That was better. That was more clever. Kind of pisses me off.
So you guys, Chicago and Los
I want
Angeles.
his voice, by the way. I'm hearing my voice and then hearing his voice. It's really pissing me off. Josh's voice is really sexy.
It is. It's
the
a
thing
lovely
is,
voice.
you know, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. I definitely don't have the sex to back up the sexiness. So like, my voice has got me in places that my penis could not finish. But it's
a lot of phone sex.
Yeah, a lot of phone sex. A lot of like, yeah, you do that over there. You just tell me about it later. You know?
So
read to me. All right.
All right, all I have is this phone book. All right, Alfred Johnson.
Oh my God.
318.
I mean, Chicago, LA. So when you started sort of coming up, you guys did you go to New York much at all? Like,
no,
never.
I went to New York once before I moved to New York, and actually won a comedy competition.
Oh, right.
I still keep the trophy, even though
those are hard to win, man.
It was very. I still don't understand why I won. I'd like to really Conor McGregor it out and go there and be like, I was the best. You know what I mean? I was just stunting on him, but truthfully, it was like, no, I did all right. There were definitely a couple sets I had that were really, really good. Like even for like top tier at the time of like me doing stand-up, but then overall it's like, how do you judge comedy overall? You know what I mean? Because there were some people who like did some really interesting things, and there were still a couple of like one-liner comics which I always really respect. And so
but you're still the best.
Yeah, they thought so. You know what I mean? And now that same festival apparently scammed a bunch of people out of money. So maybe my win is.
But it got you to New York,
right? Yeah.
So why you only went to New York once? And
I only went to New York that one time to try to get ready for New York and stuff. And like, it's not as scary as you think. It's just another place. I'm finding that all places are just a place. Like people really put a lot of weight on like this place being bad or whatever. And it's like, do you mean poor? Like a lot of the times when people are like, oh man, this place sucks. It's like, yeah, because money is awesome, and this place doesn't have any of it. Like it's not that the actual ground there, that the soil is worse than the ground somewhere else. There's no money here. You know, you like money.
There are some horrible places out there. New York's not one of them, really. It's not as scary, especially if you're Taylor Swift. You know, when she wrote that song "Welcome to New York," and I saw her on Letterman talking about New York, it's just the best. It's like, because you bought a firehouse. You live in a firehouse.
Yeah, and firemen live there.
Yeah.
Like it's like what do you? I don't know.
I would love New York if I had that.
Dude, money and being hot are like the two things that like everybody wants, but like if someone has too much of it, they're like insufferable. I'm tired of people who are like so hot that they think the world is a good place.
Right. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, somebody that's so hot that if you tell them no, they're like, "I'm sorry, did you mispronounce yes?" Like that. There are people.
That's true.
You ever noticed like how the hotter somebody is, the less they know how much shit costs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like I just can't. I don't know with that because it's like that and then money. Because like people who are like uber rich, like there are people. I met someone one time when I used to work at Aldi. I used to work at Aldi when I lived in Chicago.
Right.
And when I worked there, there was a guy who, like, he didn't understand what a debit card was because he had a black card and he was 18. Shit. And I tried to explain to him what debit was because I was like, no, it's like the cash from your checking account. And he literally said, "Do you mean food stamps?" And I was like, you know what? To you, yes. To you, real cash is the food stamps of everybody else. If you're that rich, that is what money is.
You got to spend like $250,000 on that card a year, don't you?
Yeah, and it was so clearly his
That's
dad's
what a black card is. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, that's depressing.
What about Brent? I mean, you started in LA, so I mean,
you want to talk about pretty girls who.
No, but I mean, starting.
That was a side thing because I'm just. I mean, just to piggyback off what he says, I'm saying that a lot tonight, by the way. Hashtag piggyback. But I remember when I was doing like bar shows, and I met this girl, so pretty, wildly out of my league, and she was working as a cocktail waitress. And I said, "I will come to the show Friday," and she was like, "Yes, I'm going to come." And then I was thinking she's going to cancel. It's like, beautiful. Just said that like Trump a little bit, didn't I? Beautiful. And
that was horrifying.
So yeah, well, I'm not good at impressions. But Friday comes along. It's 6:30 p.m. It's a 9:30 p.m. show. She goes, I said, "We still good for tonight?" You know, I'm like 23. I'm nervous. She goes, "Yeah." So I'm like, I bought an outfit, you know, like because I'm like excited. Like this is like going to be a night. You better be funny, Brent. You know, I'm having moments. Yeah. And my one friend goes, "That girl's still coming?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "She's not going to go." And I said, "You know, you're always a hater, man. She's going to make it." And then I was like 7:30 p.m. I was like, "I'll meet you there at 8:30." She goes, "Can't wait." You know. I'm there at 8:30. I'm outside like a kid without a prom date. I don't know if you guys have prom here, but if that makes sense. And I get a text because I text her at 9 p.m. Show starts in like 15 minutes. I go, "Where are you?" You know? Yeah. She sends me a picture of her outside a private jet. What? With Asian businessmen behind her, and she goes with peace sign going Hong Kong.
Oh, shit!
So it's just a different life. She just got a better option that night.
Crazy! Holy shit!
I'm like, that's not her plane.
And that's normal for some.
Yeah, she doesn't need a plane. But when you're that hot, you don't need a plane because everybody's plane is just your plane.
Because if I was
no, I hate it.
I'd be doing that. Yeah. If I was a beautiful 25 to like 30-year-old woman and I don't know who I am, I'll go on a free trip to Hong Kong. If I just got to kiss a little guy,
go to the comedy club. No.
Not down for Hong Kong.
If I were like super hot, I'd be like I would just walk in and be like, "Why don't you just like give all your money to like poor people?" I don't know. Like I would try to use my superpower to make the world a better place.
But I have a feeling though, if you were like super hot, like they would start to seep in. You know, like Venom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start to get in. So we'll start that way, and then eventually you just be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do a bump," and you're like, "Whoa, man, why am I in Dubai?"
Yeah.
LA is a lot like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, performing in LA. I mean, coming up in LA, you know, performing at all the iconic comedy clubs, like the Comedy Store.
Yeah, that's my home.
Is that really?
Oh,
really? The Comedy Store. That's where you hang out. That's your.
Yeah, that's my pirate ship. I call it.
Really? Okay. So
anything could happen there.
Are you part? You're part of the current crew that hangs out at the Comedy Club.
Oh yeah, it's like a family. Store. It's a family. There.
Really?
Yeah, it's the best. Rest in peace, Mitzi Shore. She passed away.
Yeah, she did.
That place taught me how to be a comedian. It's like the greatest comics comedy club I've ever been to in my life.
Right on.
And it's interesting because like even at Mitzi Shore's memorial, like guys like Jim Carrey showed up and other people that been there for. And so you're sitting and talking to guys that were in the 70s and the 80s heyday, and they all have the same story you have. They just they made it and then they come back because it's just got that feeling like. It's like a sorority or a fraternity where you run into somebody you don't know and you're just like, "Oh, no way. Do you know someone?" Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember this room. Dude, I remember bombing in this room. Because you always eat it there. Like, that's kind of the big thing. Like, when are you going to snap when you first get past there? Because it's so tough. Right. And, like, everybody has a moment when they snap. And it's the best because the comics that are, like, either working the door or paid regulars are always like, dude. you gotta, so-and-so snapped last night. Like, they're happy about it. But I'm whoa, really? I never thought he'd snap. Everybody has a moment where they just lose it, like, get out of here! You just go off. It's not even funny anymore.
So if you're a regular at the Comedy Store, does that mean you don't go perform at, like, the Improv and stuff like that?
They're good at that. That stuff's gone. Like,
anymore.
That was an 80s thing, too, where everybody, picked, like, Comedy Store or Improv, from what I gathered. And then the Improv franchised itself. And so people that you couldn't really go on the road at the Comedy Store, but if you were an improv guy, you can go all over the country. Right. So it's kind of screwed some store people, but that place is holding on strong, and now it's packed every night. And I love the Improv, the Laugh Factory. James Masato owns that club. I have a very good relationship with. Which is funny because I think when I first started, when I was doing those open mics, he would meet with the open micers and he told me to quit. And he doesn't remember that because now I'm like, buddy, you're my golden boy. I love you. And I'm like, man, this business can go both ways sometimes. He had no idea that was me. In his defense, I was doing alien elevator bits, so I think he was onto something.
Now, Josh, you did write for Jimmy Fallon, right? And what was that experience like? First off, writing for late night.
No, it was good. I had a good time. It taught me to write whether I felt like it or not. Because I feel like a lot of times in stand up, you just write whenever you get something, or you think of something, or someone tells you a story or something, and then this was like your job. And you had to be funny all the time.
So you were a staff writer in a room sort of thing.
Yeah. And it was good. It was like good to be around those people, and like a lot of them had been there for years and stuff like that. Like even now that I'm at Daily Show, is like even better because I feel like now I'm like writing more TV than just jokes because I was on monologue team, so I was just writing jokes. Yeah, it was just like 3 pages of jokes, 2 pages of jokes, everything. Whereas,
did you have to do like 50 a day for that, or it would be a lot?
It'd be around that, like around like 50 or so a day, and then like at least with Daily Show, it's like you write out a whole bit, you write out a whole sketch, or you know what I mean? Like it's like real TV, as opposed to just the one thing I was doing. And like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the monologue team that writes there do write extra things, extra bits and stuff. But there's a whole sketch team that does the other stuff, and it's just a different type of show because it's like there's going to be a guest and like maybe a musical guest, and like there's a lot of show that's taken up that doesn't have to be filled that way. Whereas Daily Show is mostly Trevor at the desk or like cutting to a field piece, or you know what I mean. So it's like lots of different types of pitches and stuff. But it's been good.
And what about you, Brent? You were on Undateable. Mm-hmm. And how was that? Like, how was that just as an actor?
It was great.
Did you write on the show at all?
No, but we had a lot of freedom to improvise on that show. Right. And my co-star, Chris D'Elia, and the two of us are like brothers. Right. And I knew he was my first friend in comedy. Him and the guy Jason when I was 18. I met them when I was about to turn 19. 2 days before my birthday. So I've known him that long. And so it's kind of full circle that we ended up on a show together. Yeah. Our boss was Bill Lawrence, created Scrubs and Spin City and all these shows. Right. He just had enough power because of those shows that a network couldn't tell him that he couldn't cast a PA. I was a production assistant at Conan because they would never let me write. I was doing alien bits. So they would never, if it wasn't for him having that power, I don't think they would cast a PA and a waiter and an unemployed guy and then Chris, who was already on TV. But he basically said, well, take the script and then go for it. Right. And that was crazy freedom to have in a network multicam. When we weren't live, because we did it live too, which is another crazy thing that a bunch of basically, newbies do, but who also don't stick to the script and are willing to take wild risks on national television live, which we did a lot. There were times that they'd be like, and we're clear for commercial. Yeah. And Chris would go, that's it. That's the end of the show. Because he would say something about a cousin being wet or something. I'm like, well, we can't say that on national television. He goes, had to do it. I go, you didn't have to do it. You just hate losing. And you don't want to admit that because you're insecure. And he goes, is he looking at us? I go, they're all looking at us. Everybody here is looking at us. That is our boss.
Do you have cue cards if you do it live? No cue cards at all.
cue. See, because it was a scripted narrative, which is my strength. I love acting, so that to me that's what I wanted stand up to kind of get to: the writing, directing, acting, and to do a multicam growing up in Seinfeld and Friends on NBC, like it's crazy. I got to be on one of those and get to do so many great things with it. And then to be with some of my best friends, it was unfair. Like I used to say, this is going away because there's no way this is going to last, and it didn't. But it was just such a great opportunity, and I got to work on other shows too, and with like Laurie Metcalf, who plays like Jackie on Roseanne, and obviously nominated for an Oscar this year. And she taught me a lot. I worked with her on a show called The McCarthys on CBS and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and a couple other things, and got to do some movies out of that. And I just honestly, it's like stand up taught me to learn, check that ego, and like learn and know that you don't know everything. So like Laurie, I would sit and be like, how did you do that? How did you just say, hey Rick, like that and make it funny? Like I didn't know. It was great life lessons, but we were the stupid show. That was a fun show.
Side note, what was the production assistant being like on Conan? Is Conan as much of an asshole as they depict him?
No, God, no. Conan's like a comedy mentor to me, man.
Yeah, really?
He's always been good to me. He taught me the professionalism of comedy, just watching him every day, because I had to be around him a lot. And I had a great boss. He was a stage manager, and I worked under him, and he let me leave all the time and let me be in on meetings and things that I shouldn't be involved in. Wow. Like when Will Ferrell announced Anchorman 2. Nobody knew he was doing that, not even the cast. And him and Conan are really good friends, so to throw a bone, he was like, I'm going to announce it on your show. So to watch him come out as Ron Burgundy on a closed set where my boss was like grabbing my shirt like, you're going to be involved in this, which I had no reason to be there. And so I was just me and like 7 people in Conan. And to see Will Ferrell saying to Conan, so what do you think is funnier, me come this way or this way? And Conan go, I think it's funnier if you go out that way and the da-da-da. And Will, his character, his thing, like the biggest comedy movie star, being like, I think you're right. Yeah, I'll go that way. And then just the lack of ego. It was like the same as making a YouTube sketch with your friend. Like there was no ego in their comedy. It like taught me like, oh yeah, man, just because you have everything doesn't mean you know everything.
Still people, still comedians.
And I was just mouth open, and then Conan would say something like, Brent, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I don't know.
All right, so you guys are playing Friday night and Saturday night at the Comics Lounge.
Yes.
Star Spangled US Tour. And it is at 8 p.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Friday
8
and Saturday at 8 p.m. Tickets at the Comics Lounge website. Yes, that's right. Of
Great
course.
spot, yes.
Or you can go to my website, brentmorin.com, and it's there.
Right. Where else can the people find?
I mean, you could go to my website. Go to Brent's website.
And where can they get you, Josh, as well? Of course.
They can get me on my website, therealjoshjohnson.com. I had to say the real because there are several. It is a very plain name. It's the plainest name. I couldn't have thought of a worse name if I got to pick. And then you can find me on Josh Johnson Comedy on Instagram, and then just Facebook. Josh Johnson.
Right on. Thank you so much, guys, for coming down. I really appreciate it.
Hey, this is Chris Rock, and you're listening to Laugh Out Proud with Z and G on Joy 94.9. Joy 94.9. You better listen, because it's a good show. I can personally vouch for this. It's a great show.